Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Star Flag Media. Today is April 30th, 2023, and we are bringing you a bit of mixed uh, news today. We're going to be talking about a little bit of video games and a little bit about the box office. So let's start off today's news with Nintendo Switch Online offering a trial version of Cadence of Hyrule from May the 1st to May the 7th. Um, it's going to be a fun little tie-in for Nintendo Switch Online users, and you can try the game in its entirety for free. You could probably beat it in the time frame within the week. It's a fun rhythm-based adventure in the Legend of Zelda universe, and it's going to be a nice little tie-in for Tears of the Kingdom, which comes out later this month. So this is, Nintendo's way of kind of keeping the hype around Tears of the Kingdom, keeping everybody in the loop and kind of feeling the Legend of Zelda vibes and trying to tide over the fan base in the meantime. Just keep in mind you can choose to play Cadence of Hyrule with the rhythm-based gameplay, or you can decide to turn that off and play it just like a standard game. I recommend playing it with the rhythm. It's just more fun, in my opinion, and probably one of the best ways of playing a Legend of Zelda game that isn't like any other Legend of Zelda game out there. Uh, the second bit of news here, we have the new Inspector Gadget game coming out and being announced. It's interesting to have a new Inspector Gadget game in the year 2023. This one seems to be taking the character design from the classic cartoon show and bringing it along for a new generation of gamers. It is set to be priced at around the $39.99 range, so it's not exactly a budget title, not exactly a AAA game. Somewhere in between. It's going to be one of those fun, for the family type games. Definitely skewing for a younger audience on this one, so it's going to be nice to get a new generation of people who will grow up to love Inspector Gadget in a different way. If you grew up either with the cartoons or the movies, later on, this might be a nice way of introducing your kids if you have any, or if you're just a younger gamer who wants to experience what Inspector Gadget is, this is something you can pick up. It's coming out on everything except for the Xbox, so you can get it on Nintendo Switch, you can get it on PlayStation 5, PC, and Steam. And Xbox users are out of the loop on this one. It's not exactly a huge loss, but interesting that they're not bringing this one over to Xbox. The next big gaming release that we have is on May the 1st. We all know Redfall is coming out for Xbox. It's set to be downloadable 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and one of the bigger controversies for this game, as we all know at this point, is that Redfall was announced to have a locked 30 frames per second on the Xbox. One of the things that I wanted to touch upon over the weekend, we had some posts on Twitter and Reddit showing that the physical copy of Redfall said that it had 60 frames per second on the back, but the pictures that were being circulated online had a sticker on it that showed 60 frames per second not available at launch. It's interesting. It might be a misprint on the actual packaging, and so that sticker was placed on there. It could be fake. We don't know, or it could be also that Redfall might be getting some kind of a patch later on that allows for 60 frames per second, perhaps on the Series X version of the Xbox. Who knows? I still think this game is going to be successful. I don't think not having 60 frames per second is going to be a nail in the coffin at all for this game. I think overall the game can still be really, really fun, and I see it being successful regardless. Now we're going to switch gears a little bit, and we're going to go into box office. We're going to start off with what we've been talking about for the last few weeks here with the Super Mario Brothers movie. Super Mario Brothers hit the $1 billion mark this weekend. They brought in an expected $40 million more on its third or fourth week out now in theaters. And, it's just killing everybody, and it brought in the new Evil Dead movie that just came out. It came in second place. It couldn't stop it. So the next and only big release that's going to be coming up that could possibly, compete with Mario is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy, which will probably be the one that brings it down to the number two spot, 2 or 3, depending on if Evil Dead continues to upwards trend or if it just falls down. Then we'll probably see Mario in there. With this news, also there is a rumor that Illumination, the company that brought Mario Brothers the movie up to the big screen, is delaying the video release by another 4 to 6 weeks. That's a rumor. That's not confirmed, but it makes perfect sense to me. This movie is still making tons of money in the box office, and it's been leaked on Twitter. It was up for hours today on Twitter. It was leaked on Argentinian television. They aired the entire movie for free. I'm sure that station is going to be heavily fined at some point. So to recover some lost money the Illumination may have gotten from them playing the entire thing. But it's not slowing this movie down either way, because it's still a fun family film. There's no controversies behind it, no agendas, and it seems like everyone could just go to the movies and enjoy this film regardless of age. And you've probably gone back a couple of times, especially if you have younger kids at home or siblings or nieces and nephews. You probably have gone to watch this movie more than once. I think this movie plays through all through May and into June. And the movie was supposedly coming out on video format in June. So we'll see what happens with that. It's just printing money at this point. This brings me to the next topic, which we're going to be talking about, which is Disney. So on the downside of things, we have Mario and Nintendo kind of dominating the House of Mouse, right? Here we have kind of a new passing of the torch if Disney doesn't really step up to the plate, and they haven't been, according to the latest numbers. And we're going to talk first about Peter Pan and Wendy that just debuted on Disney Plus. It's gotten mild critic results. It sits at around 67% on Rotten Tomatoes from the critic side of things, and then from the audience side of things, this is a complete flop. It's down to 21% on Rotten Tomatoes, the audience rating. This is, again, Disney just being blind to their audience and just force-feeding them. You don't know what you want. We know what you want. That's what Disney is doing at this point. They are just force-feeding their types of remaking of movies from your childhood, whether you like it or not, and they're changing things up so drastically that you have no connection to these new versions. I'm sure they have an audience that doesn't mind and will still enjoy these films, and that's totally fine, but it seems like they're missing the mark with the vast majority of the audience. And it's not just the obvious things that are kind of hurting Disney right now, right? So, the obvious controversies are, of course, that they're changing the ethnicities of the main characters. In Peter Pan, they did this. They didn't really do this with any of their other live-action films, who have generally performed well and received well by the audience in general. But it looks like they're just really in the for the sake of inclusivity, and whoever is running the show back there, it is for better or for worse what they are going to be doing going forward, unless there is a changing of the guard at some point. And I think that might happen with The Little Mermaid. So The Little Mermaid is set to come out soon, and analysts and box office are tracking what The Little Mermaid might debut for the box office as far as money is concerned. The Little Mermaid, as we all know, there's obvious critiques that we just talked about with Peter Pan. It's the same thing with The Little Mermaid. They've switched up The Little Mermaid's ethnicity. She barely has red hair that we grew up, wanting or expecting is a better term. The thing with The Little Mermaid is that it's a very well-established franchise. It is actually Disney's probably the biggest selling franchise that they might own. From the 90s, it was just way more popular. They spun off into television series and coloring books and CDs and you name it. The Little Mermaid was everywhere, especially after it came out on home video. Not so much in '89 when it debuted in the box office. It wasn't exactly a huge hit. It was afterwards. This it really took off for Disney, and so here we are, 30 years later, and Disney's kind of dropping the ball. So they not only changed the look of the main character, so now that instantly takes, it includes an audience that probably wouldn't have watched it before for a very minor portion of the audience, and then excludes everybody else who grew up with the franchise. But my main critiques are a little deeper than just the switch of the main characters. When you look at the trailers that have been released so far, it's the tonality of these movies have been changed to a degree that it doesn't have any resemblance to what the original films were. You think of Little Mermaid in this case, or even the old Peter Pans, and they were vibrant, colorful, fun adventures, big-eyed characters. The tone was different. The style is different. This one seems to be darker, grittier. The look of the animals, they lose all their expressions because now they want to go with photorealistic crabs and photorealistic flounders. This happened with the Lion King as well. You just lost a lot of the emotional attachments that you may have had, and for the sake of being super photorealistic, they're kind of losing that aura of magic that used to have in the old Disney films. And it seems like Disney is refusing to change. So what is the movie tracking at? Well, it's expected to make around $70 million at the box office opening weekend. That's where it's tracking at right now. This could, of course, change later on. They might release a trailer that automatically changes people's minds and go, okay, you know what? It doesn't matter that Halle Bailey is the lead. This movie looks amazing. From everything that they've said so far, I doubt it. They've taken musical tracks out of the film that were in the original. They've made the movie longer, and they've changed the tone of the movie. So no longer is Ariel in love with this prince and wants to leave and explore the world. She always wanted to do that, but it's Eric was the reason, the kind of like the push that really cemented her wanting to leave. She gave up her voice in order to go after this person that she fell in love with. That's no longer the case. They can't have a woman falling in love with a man anymore and being a reason for her to want to change her life. So now she's girl power, and she is probably not losing her voice in the movie. They've eliminated the song Kiss the Girl from the scenes because it is too controversial to have a scene where the animals are trying to persuade the prince to kiss the girl. So apparently that's too much now. And so they're just changing everything in that respect. $70 million is not a very good opening for this franchise. When they track it, they're looking at it making $200 to $300 million total. And that's probably in the domestic box office. But let's put that in perspective. The movie's budget is around $150 million to $200 million. So $200 to $300 million is not enough for them to recover their money when you consider advertisements, marketing, any kind of push for merchandise, and worldwide marketing on top of that. So realistically, this movie needs to make $500 to $700 million, that ballpark, for the movie to break even for Disney. They need that to break even, and it doesn't look like Disney is on track for that. This might be a money loser for Disney. They're probably expecting this to be $1 billion movie, and it's not looking like it. They have a better shot of making money if they were just to do the Return of Jafar live action than doing The Little Mermaid the way they're doing it now. I don't know. I don't think this is going to be successful as Disney would hope, and you would think that this is going to push Disney to change things. But what I think is going to do is these movies will hit Disney Plus way fast, and this will avoid Disney from being embarrassed with trackable numbers at the box office, since realistically You don't know how many streams are happening at Disney Plus. You don't know how many subscribers are jumping on board until we have maybe financial earnings or something like that where they disclose the numbers. So they can hide their failures better if it's on their streaming service than they can if we have a hard evidence of saying, look, these are the box office numbers and it's not going anywhere. Uh, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. Do you think Disney has lost its mind? Do you think that perhaps The Little Mermaid is going to be successful regardless? Am I totally missing the mark? And also, are you picking up Redfall May 1st? Are you downloading it? Are you picking up a physical copy? And will you be doing that game trial of Hyrule, Cadence of Hyrule on the Switch? Let me know in the comments below your thoughts. As always, you can follow me on twitch.tv/StarFlagMedia, Twitter @StarFlagMedia, and leave a comment below. Hit that like button, subscribe. It'll really help out the channel. If you don't like something, leave a comment as well and let me know what we can change so that we can go ahead and continue to improve. As always, thanks for coming.